Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time for the latest GoSkills Challenge solution. How did you do? Well, we're about to find out. Our Excel expert Claudia Buckley has her solution to share. Give it a look and see if yours matches up.
I bet we got lots of different methods to solve this challenge, but like I mentioned, I'm a big fan of simple solutions, and I found the following method to be the simplest for me. Since we needed to assign account numbers based on last names in A to Z order, we first had to get the list sorted by last name. That was the first real challenge since the first and last names are in the same cell. So that meant finding a way to split them. Couple of ways to do that, but if you have Excel 2013 or later, Flash Fill will be the simplest one. Just type 2 or 3 of what you want the result to look like in a helper column, and Excel picks up on your pattern and suggests the rest. To accept the suggestion, hit Tab, and you've split the text in seconds. If Excel didn't pick up on your pattern, just go to the most recent row and use the Control-E shortcut. Control-E again, and the text is filled in. Pretty amazing. Now, just a point to note with Flash Fill. Your helper column has to be adjacent to the data set you're working with, meaning it must be touching it. So it can be at the beginning, the end, or the middle, but you can't have a blank column between your helper column and your data set. It won't work. And what if you have an older version of Excel with no Flash Fill? Well, then you could use the text to columns feature. Let's demo that now. I'll delete my helper columns here. So here's the column that we'll want to split. We go to the Data tab, choose Text to Columns, and we'll use Delimited because we're going to use characters to split our text. Hit Next. And a space will separate the two columns. So this is a preview of what our data will look like. Next. And now we need to select the destination. Where do we want our new columns to show up? Let's put it right here in J1, and we're finished. So now we have first names in one column, last names in another column. From here, we need to sort by the last name column. Now, of course, this was an Excel table, and when we used our text to columns feature, this was not included as part of the table. So we have a couple of options when we're sorting. We can either highlight the entire data set, or we can make our 2 extra columns a part of this table. I like the option of expanding the size of our table. So we can go to the Table Design tab, hit Resize Table, and now we just need to bring this table all the way over to column K. So now these two are a part of our table. And from here, it's pretty easy to sort by the last name. You can go to Data, sort A to Z, and now the entire table is sorted by last name. Now we're ready to assign the account numbers. That one is a bit more challenging than it might seem since Excel doesn't like to see leading zeros. So if we type 0001, the output gets changed to 1. Again, I thought of a couple ways we could do this, but finally decided that this was probably best. Let's type apostrophe 0001. And now from this cell, we click and hold the fill handle with the right mouse button, not the left, and just drag it all the way to the end of the data set. When you release, the context menu asks what type of copy are you doing. Select Fill Series, and they all get filled in. If you don't like these little green flags, just go back to the top. Click on the yellow hazard sign that says this number is stored as text. Yeah, we know that, and that's what we want, so we can ignore the error. And now everybody's got an account number. We just need to get email addresses for the folks that don't have one. To make this easier to work with, let's apply a filter to this column. so that we're only looking at the records that don't have email addresses. So click here, uncheck, select all, and click blanks. What we'll need to do here is to grab the last name, the account number, and add @netpro.com to create their email addresses. For that, you can use the concat function or the older function concatenate, and then you copy that down. I'm going to use concat because that's the newer one. And so we need the last name here, comma, the account number, comma, and our text for the domain will be @netpro.com within double quotes. Close parentheses. And if you don't like the first letter being uppercase, you can convert it to lowercase with the lower function. This is really just cosmetic, but some of us really care about form, so we use the lower function to change everything to lowercase. And we can copy this all the way to the end of the data set. Well, this looks great, but remember that these are formulas. And we'd much rather have them as text values so that if we change the values in the other columns, it won't affect the email addresses. So we need to copy the values in this column and then right-click to use the Paste Values option. So here's Paste Values. Uh-oh, we get this little error message because remember, this is a filtered list. So let's get rid of this error message and unfilter. Now this displays all the records, but we can still copy the entire column. We can use the shortcut, Control, Shift, and down arrow that goes all the way to the end of the data set. Control C to copy, and just right-click to overwrite the email addresses as values. Now you can decide if you want to delete the helper columns or not. I'll delete mine. And when you do that, you'll see that the data on your worksheet remains intact, even if you sort by some other column. So let's say we wanted to sort by this column, or you wanted to sort by country. Our data is preserved. If you had problems with any part of this challenge, head over to our Slack channel to tell us about it. Or maybe you have another method you prefer. Join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.
So there it is. Did you get the same results? Did you use the same approach? Or did you try something different? We'd like to know. Share your take on the challenge in the comments below or join us for more discussion in our Slack channel. Link in the description. Thanks for participating, and make sure to subscribe to this channel to get an alert when the next challenge is released. We'll see you then.